I'm pretty convinced that Travis Etienne is playing his last season with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Correct.
Good or bad. I'm less convinced about Lloyd. I would say this is probably his last year, but if for some reason he can find it and blossom in this new system, I could see a situation where the Jags do keep him around. He's got to do a lot, but I'm still, listen, he's one of the big mysteries to me over these last few years. And if we're going to sit here and say, well, wait a minute, they didn't do a lot on the defensive side of the ball from an edge or D-line standpoint because they really feel like coaching was a problem, well, maybe coaching can really help this guy out.
No, you're not wrong. And, it's not just about the position. It's about the line as well, right? Because you're only as good as your offensive line is going to allow you to be if you're running back. And you would hope that Liam Cohen can elevate. That's going to be the biggest question to me about this year. Because you saw what he was able to do with Bucky Irving and, Rachaad White and everybody in Tampa. But then you look at Tampa's offensive line and it's like, well, they're pretty solid. Like Tristan Wirfs is one of the best offensive tackles in the league, right? So like they have talent and they invested to get said talent. You look at this Jaguars roster on the offensive line and it's like, okay, there's some optimism per se, but like they don't have a Tristan Wirfs, Brent. Like they don't have an all pro that you can like solidify like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Like it's I guess my biggest thing is what is this? Is the scheme gonna enhance this offensive line so much? That's the biggest question. And that's gonna be the biggest question I feel like in this offseason going up to week 1. Because you think the defense can't get worse from last year. So the defense is gonna improve. Yeah, the play calling is going to get better. Brian Thomas Jr. is still going to shine. Travis Hunter will shine. You think Trevor Lawrence is going to shine as well. But the offensive line, to me, is going to be the biggest question mark.
So that's it on Etienne, where it's okay, go have a big year. And I mean, I think he's gone even with a big year. But he could have a big year under what you're saying. But on the other side with Devin Lloyd, it's like, how much does coaching matter to him? Is this the last 3 years, his inconsistencies? The things that people get annoyed with or are puzzled by or mysterious, is that his problem? Or is that coaching's problem? Two different schemes, two different coaches. And again, I go back to everything we're saying about why they didn't pick a Mason Graham or somebody else. They obviously believe that they can raise the level of play from Armstead to Mason Smith to Devon Hamilton to Jordan Jefferson. I think the guy people don't talk about in this scenario is really Lloyd. I think Lloyd has talent. How they use him, can they tap into it? And I would say much like Etienne, we're talking about two guys that should maybe have the biggest chips on their shoulder of anybody else on the roster because they've got a lot to play for in 2025.
They do have a lot to play for. And when it comes to Devin Lloyd, that to me is the biggest question mark maybe on this team of what he's going to be able to produce because we haven't really seen a lot. We've seen some good. Especially early in his career, but we've said this story how many times with this franchise, and I get it's a new regime now, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But has he been used to the best of his abilities? The past couple years, has Devin Lloyd been in positions to succeed, or was he playing out of position a little bit, being asked to do things that maybe aren't his best attributes, as opposed to maybe blitzing and rushing the passer? So you bring in Campanelli now. And yeah, you address linebacker a little bit in the draft. Free agency, not so much. There's going to be a great opportunity for Devin Lloyd to prove himself. And that's what you want. Because we're going to find out this year, right? Just like we're going to find out about a lot of people this year. We're going to find out about Trevor Lawrence this year. And we're going to find out about Devin Lloyd this year. We're going to find out was it just the scheme from the past couple years that wasn't really, going Devin Lloyd's way? Or, did the Jaguars reach a little too high for a first-round linebacker?
Yeah, listen, YB400 says Mike Caldwell was a scapegoat all along. I'm not sure I fully buy that. I understand it. Well, there was going to be someone that had to take the fall for losing 5 out of 6, and it wasn't going to be Press Taylor, right? And that's why that whole coaching staff's like, well, you fired the wrong side of the ball. But I also think there were some things with Caldwell that I would suggest warranted the team to move on.
Okay.
One is a little bit more outside looking in, my thought, and another one was in your face. So the outside looking in one is, okay, was he developing and coaching and communicating and doing those kind of things the way they needed to with this kind of young team that they had on defense? The scheme played well. The emphasis on turnovers played well. Listen, he made the hell of a call against Tennessee that sparked the turnover of Josh Allen and Rayshon Jenkins that put him in the playoffs. I mean, that's a fact. He made a great call. Mm-hmm. So some of those things, but you did wonder a little bit about some of the development of people. Maybe it's a Tyson or an Andre Sisco, or maybe it's a Devin Lloyd. And I think that was a concern internally. Are we developing guys at the rate we should be developing guys and coaching them up?
Yeah, but to be fair, he got the best out of Lloyd. Like, Nielsen didn't get anything out of him.
Well, that's true.
Lloyd.
Yeah, I don't think there should be a comp to Nielsen either, because Nielsen obviously is even below him on the depth chart.
Sure. Yeah,
of DCs. Like Caldwell was 20 times the DC that Nielsen was over those 2 years. I'm just saying why they wanted to move on.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there may have been, because what was the whole narrative? Like the rumors that they weren't like going through the play. What was it? What the scheme? No, it wasn't scheme. But alignment. Alignment was the big word.
Yeah, alignment.
Alignment. And maybe there is some truth to that, but I fall under the umbrella that Caldwell and Doug Peterson didn't get along. And Caldwell's guys under him, his position coaches and everything, weren't the biggest fans of Doug Peterson.
Yeah, and I do think Doug at some point had to step in and help adjust some stuff. Now, whether he needed to do that, whether that made a difference, he felt the need to do it, which is a little problematic. You know, and this was even when things were going somewhat well, right? Yep. This was before this last year. The other thing is, I think the in-the-face part is, the way they played defense in the last 6 games of 2023 was not good. Mm-hmm. Like what Baker Mayfield and Tampa did to them, what Tennessee and Derrick Henry did in a game that meant everything, and how they tackled and how they were ready to play in that game. To me, that is a direct reflection of back on Caldwell. I mean, he did not get those guys to play good ball. I mean, what the backup quarterback for Cincinnati did on a Monday night here, the lack of adjustments, those 3 examples, man, to go from Cincinnati Monday night to go, where they never had an answer, to go to Tampa where they never had an answer, and then the effort alone against Tennessee. Like, I do think it might have been scapegoat, no problem, but there's also a lot of evidence in those last 6 weeks to say, like, this ain't working.
Yeah, but was Doug's offense working that too?
It wasn't.
Yeah,
but he's the head coach. He's going to win that.
Well, I know he's going to win it, but I get it. Caldwell's defense didn't play well. The team didn't play well in general. Like, the offense was discombobulated. Defense was porous. Like, it wasn't good all around. And yeah, when it's not good all around, guess what? There's going to be a scapegoat. There's going to be some that says, this is your fault. You got to go. And that guy was Caldwell. Shouldn't have been done like that. Hindsight being 2020, they probably would have maybe won a game or 2 more if they would have had Caldwell and not had Ryan Nielsen, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, the turnovers alone. I mean, all right, Caldwell was able to get turnovers. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, probably helped elevate him as a defense coordinator, the amount of turnovers they got over 2 years. I think they had to be like top 5 or 10 in the league in turnovers in his 2 years. And then last year they got, 9? Franchise record, low, tied.
Yep.
So, that certainly was something that he brought to the table.